If you've followed my channel for any time now, you know I've tried a lot of new carry guns. If there's something new comes out, some new wonder semi-auto that's supposed to be great for carry, I like to give it a try. I'm a sucker for anything new and shiny, and I like to buy new guns, so I use that as an excuse to buy something new. I've tried everything from Smith & Wesson M&Ps to Glocks to FNs, Berettas, SIGs, etc., Walthers. I've tried pretty much all of them. And even though I've owned and tried all these different semi-auto carry guns, these new wonder carry guns, I almost always end up going back to my little revolvers, like my Smith & Wesson J-frames, like my little Model 60 here. Nowadays I'm carrying a little bit more modern twist on the revolver. I'm carrying my new LCRX, but I already went to bed once tonight before I got up to make this video, and I had put my gun in the night safe, and if I go back up and get it now, it beeps when I try to get it out, and I'll get a shoe thrown at me, and then I'll be reminded that if I didn't roam around the house all night waking everybody else up every 15 minutes, I wouldn't get told I'm too tired every time I want to have sex. So I'm not going to go up there and go through that. I'll just use this gun right now for demonstration purposes. So I get asked a lot, why do I come back to the revolver? Why do I always go back to this gun, which a lot of people say it's outdated? Well, I've already talked about capacity and how I think capacity of 5 is plenty for self-defense. So I'm not going to go into that right now. I've actually got another video coming out about that also soon. So right now we're just going to assume capacity is fine on the gun. I'm just going to talk about the gun itself and why I like to go back to revolvers for concealed carry. Now, one thing I always inevitably hear from someone who loves Glocks is like, oh yeah, but if your revolver fails, you're screwed. Whereas if a Glock fails or a semi-auto fails, it's just, you cycle it again and you're ready to go. Well, that's just not true. You're mistaking failures for malfunctions. And yeah, malfunctions happen a lot with guns. But with modern guns, failures are rare. Having a modern gun fail on you is not likely to happen. So if you take care of your gun, your revolver's not going to fail. Just like your semi-auto's probably not going to fail on you either. But here's the difference. Semi-autos malfunction quite often. Revolvers don't malfunction very often. When you're talking about malfunctions of carry guns, especially in a self-defense situation, you're usually talking about 3 things. You're talking about user error, you're talking about a bad mag, or you're talking about bad ammo. Now, as far as user error is concerned, with a revolver, there's no slides you can short stroke, there's no safety you can forget to take off, you can't hit a magazine release accidentally. It's just point, pull the trigger, point, pull the trigger, or cock the hammer and pull the trigger. So you're really not going to screw up, so user error is pretty much out of the picture. And as far as mags go, well, don't see any mags. Do you see any mags? So if mags failing is a big problem, and everyone knows mags failing is a big problem. In fact, people always talk about have extra mags because mags fail. Well, no mag, so no mag to fail. So that part of the problem is gone right away with a revolver. And as far as ammo is concerned, well, everybody can get a bad round. Even if you buy good ammo, you can get a bad round. But it's not very likely if you buy good self-defense ammo. You're probably going to have good rounds. But on the off chance you do get a bad round in a revolver, you don't have to cycle the slide. You don't have to take your gun off target. You don't have to do any of that. If you pull the trigger and nothing happens, you just pull the trigger again. It goes on to the next round. And chances of having 2 bad rounds in a row, that's almost non-existent. So as you can see, simply carrying a revolver eliminates 3 of the most common malfunctions that you're going to find when you have an issue with your carry gun, especially in a self-defense situation where you have to think fast. The 3 most common problems are gone with a revolver. You're not going to have user error issues, you're not going to have a bad mag, and if you get a bad round, go on to the next one. So when you take all that into account, how could you not choose to carry a revolver? And plus, on top of all that, on top of all the good things, the good reliability issues of a revolver, carrying a revolver just makes you look cooler. You ain't even my real dad. But even buying all these new carry guns, I almost always end up going, motherfucker. That hasn't happened in a while. FNs, etc. I've bought it if it's, well, rev your fucking engine. Everybody's got to hear your goddamn motherfucking car, or else you don't got to, everybody know you have a tiny dick. Semi-autos and everything. I almost always end up going back to my motherfucker. Why can't I get this right tonight? It's a fucking revolver. How hard is that to remember? Motherfucker. 3:45 in the fucking morning and you want to have a conversation on the street? Oh, this is a fucking country.